Well, talked enough about the crooked NCAA, who may or may not be becoming less crooked, but they still show their old ways. But we got to talk about a crooked, unfortunately, Chiefs fan. It's a big story. I feel it came out today on Twitter.
I did come out today on Twitter. Old Mr. Chiefsaholic back in the news. He just can't stay. A cool thing, Christian Folsom, who's on the show with Tybo and I last year at the beginning of the season, was the one who broke the news about Chiefsaholic and has actually done a documentary or been a part of a documentary that hopefully will come out later this year, talking about that. But yeah, Chiefsaholic's back in the news. With a new warrant out for his arrest.
It's a it's a bond. It's a little bit
Well,
different than a warrant.
no. They've upped his bond and they've put out a warrant for his arrest because he's missing. Now he's got if captured, he's now got a $1 million bond, and they've got a warrant out for his arrest because he has cut his ankle monitor off. I believe his probation officer came out and said, or whoever the officer is overseeing him on his house arrest has come out and said that he cut it off on Saturday. It is now Monday at the time that we're recording this. He has been gone
On the
for
loose.
48 hours plus.
What do we expect? This guy's shitty. I expected nothing less out of him. This
It's
is
got to
this
check
is
all
this
those
is just
warehouses, man.
on par with this guy's character. Did he have to? Did he get to go home to Missouri, or was he in
No, so
Oklahoma as all
he
this
he
happened?
had to he had to stay in Oklahoma. So what happened was is after the arrest, he did get a bond. I believe it was of $40,000. He and he ponied that up. He got out, in which it was right before the Super Bowl. He then petitioned to be able to go to Phoenix for a quote unquote family uh,
Event
something or
or something like
other.
that?
Yeah, some sort of family event that if he didn't get to go, it would cause major financial distress to him and his family. It got rejected. He could not go to Phoenix. Again, that was also the same weekend of the Super Bowl, where he was then told to stay in the Bixby, Tulsa area, where he has supposedly been residing since being released on bond, to where now over the last 48 plus hours he's cut off his tracking monitor, and everybody on Twitter suspects he is all the way in Tijuana already.
Wouldn't doubt it. He's on the run. We gotta have Chiefsaholic watch. We're gonna have
So,
impromptu shows once he gets caught.
oh, for
Breaking
sure.
news.
Oh, for sure. That might be a midday type of just get something up and going, because this is if they catch him. Thing is, they may never catch the guy. He doesn't have credit cards. He doesn't have a home. He doesn't have it. All he has is that car that he paid a lot of money for, and who knows if he even still has that.
I would highly doubt he still has that.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe flipped it.
He could have. They the police never did find it.
This guy's off the grid. Like I
Legitimately
mean,
off
he
the
hasn't
grid
been caught from all of his other bank robbings apparently. So,
that we know of. We suspect there's an investigation.
Can't find him now.
but
So
they can't find him.
Can't find him now. As long as he doesn't pick up an iPhone, he should be good.
This
Which he
better
he
make
did
so.
deactivate his
Do
Twitter,
we? Does
so who
Christian
knows?
know if the documentary he's been working on has any deals with like a streaming company? Like, get it out there for
So
the people.
so the people who are doing the documentary have had multiple um, documentaries picked up by major streaming services, Netflix, HBO, and Hulu. So
Let's go.
it is not one that has been bought at the time of Christian's recording, which was actually a few months ago. So once they wrap, most likely they'll throw out a version, and somebody will pick it up.
to say he's just giving them more and more content every day. So
Oh, 100%. This is going to be a straight up Tiger King TV series documentary as soon as the man gets caught again.
Put Missouri on the map, baby. Ain't nobody be calling it Kansas City, Kansas no more.
I don't know if that's what you want to hear about
Any
Missouri.
press is good press, my friend. Any press is good press.
There is a situation of press that is not going so good for a one-time former Kansas City Chief. McCole Hardman's being a
Just one
big,
time.
well, yeah, I mean, he was a one-time Kansas City Chief, one contract. He's being a big old baby back bitch in the news.
I had to
McCole
go
Hardman,
ahead and call him out, man.
you and literally everyone else on Twitter. You were not the only one. I saw your tweet come from the show's account, and then after that, I saw about 30 more saying the exact same thing. You want to talk
And
about a type of
the thing is, he had every opportunity to thrive in this system, man. He replied to somebody else, and it's like if when somebody was talking about agreeing with him, saying he came in the league, behind Tyreek Hill, one of the best wide receivers ever. Um, he's like, yeah, you'd think they would have used us at the same time or something like that. And I was like, bro, you quit bitching. Don't be like Tyreek going to Miami and said, like, I wish I had the ball in my hands more. I wish they would have given me more targets. He had every opportunity. And, maybe he did have a pretty serious injury last season that kept him out for a while, but like he had every chance to thrive in our system. We did not keep him in our back pocket like Sky Moore the first season. McCole was out there doing a bunch of stuff with us.
McCole had every single opportunity. We had Sammy Watkins in Kansas City and injured a lot. We needed somebody to step up. McCole decided not to. You lose Sammy, who the number two that came in after him, like nobody. Then you lose Tyreek, and it's just you, McCole. You know the offensive system. You have you're supposed to have chemistry with Patrick Mahomes because you've been here for 3 years, and you can't even get on the same page with him better than Juju or MVS. You had the opportunity to be out there and show out and show everyone that you're a guy who can take over that number one role, injured or not. Like you weren't injured the whole season. You got to come in and play, and what'd you do? You did the same thing you did every year. You
Yeah.
were a gimmick guy. You were a gimmick guy. You came in, you did the reverses, you did the jet sweeps, you did a couple of long balls that you could never haul in because you don't have hands or vision. You got taken off of special teams because you're not very good at those. You've only had one good punt return in Chiefs history. And granted, it was a big
That kick
moment,
return.
but like, like you've had a couple good moments, but nothing to hang your hat on.
That's what I think is so sad about the whole situation because honestly, I think you're being a little harsh on him. I thought first couple years production was decent. It was enough, and he came through in some big moments. So like we know the type of skill that he can provide, but it wasn't consistent. And when outside of a couple of big moments, was the production consistent and where it should be for a person who's been on the team for 3 years? No.
It's right here on audio platforms. I'm pointing to my head. Man could never get it. Is a mentality issue. He's showing that in his tweets and in his press conferences, saying, "I never
He's
got an offer from
apparently
the Chiefs."
he
Head
apparently
case.
didn't think he could have been a number one wide receiver, so that's fine. If he didn't have that mindset here, take that somewhere else.
And he's
I
definitely not
think
going to be
it's
one in New York.
I think it's funny that McColl's getting a very similar contract to Juju got last year with us. Then the incentives fall like a couple mil short of what Juju could have gotten or did get. But I just think it's funny. He's on his own little semi prove it deal. Like he doesn't really have the tape to stand on, and that deal shows it.
Place that it's going to be really hard to show it. Like we talked about last week, like that is a stacked receiver room. It is crowded, and maybe not necessarily stacked, but like there are plenty of dudes that are ahead of him. It's going to be really hard for him to make his way as a receiver in that team, whether they have Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson.
was gonna say right now it's just Zach Wilson.
Right now, Zach, they don't even have Mike White, dude. Who you putting? You bringing back Joe Flacco, or is he going to the
Joe
Ravens? Like, what
Flacco,
happened?
baby.
He's elite.
Ravens want Joe Flacco.
Elite.
We don't want Lamar.
They want him, but they're not going to pay him what he's worth.
They don't want Lamar.
At least what he thinks he's worth.
What do you take away from all that, Sean? What do you think he thinks he's worth?
I think he's worth more than 133 million guaranteed with this 5-year, $250 million deal that he turned down. For what he does for that team, for the offense they put around him, for how good of a quarterback he is, a top 5 winning quarterback in the NFL right now, since he started starting games, he is worth well more than that.
What a lot of people, I mean, what a lot of people are saying is Lamar wants 230 guaranteed. He wants 230 guaranteed. No, he just turned down 130 guaranteed. He came out and said that it doesn't have to be 230. It doesn't have to be the Deshaun Watson deal, but the 130 is not what he values himself at. And it was the tweet released today, the tweet thread released today by Lamar. That's that's part of the issue that Lamar is faced with not having an agent. He handed in a trade request on March 2nd,
and
it's
strategically puts it out, lets it known to the public as John
the
Harbaugh has
27th,
to meet with the media.
which I mean it was the
Perfect
it was
timing.
the perfect timing to put it out there, but also you just wasted 25 days. You came out and said that they're not negotiating in good faith with you. You just wasted 25 days. And that's something where I don't believe that you need an agent, but if you're looking for leverage at any point, whether it's for money at the team that you're with or trade partners and getting money from somebody else, that's where an agent comes in at, is to help you get leverage.
See, I think a lot of teams still have the perception of what everybody wanted to grade him coming out of the draft was he was not a quarterback. He was a running back. He has proven he is a quarterback in this league. He has had shitty weapons in Baltimore. And for these teams to not realize that they have an MVP that is under 30, was never switched teams before in the NFL. You have a chance to get him. Why are you not moving mountains to get this man? Ravens gave him nothing. They spent the least amount on skill position players around him the whole entire time he was there. And he took them that far every year. Just
I think that's
imagine if
another
you had a semi-good team.
I think that's another part of the issue is, like you said, why are other teams not moving mountains to get him, even including the Ravens? Why is no team moving mountains to either get or keep Lamar? And part of the issue is the other teams had already taken themselves off the market, thinking that this transition tag that has been placed on Lamar is the one thing that's going to keep him there because the Ravens can just match. But now that they know that Lamar legitimately wants out, which if they had known 25 days ago, maybe the Panthers, instead of trading for the number 1 pick, maybe they trade for Lamar.
I bet some teams knew about it back then, but this is just now public knowledge to us.
It would have been leaked if teams had known about it. If multiple teams with as open mouthed as some of these franchises are, especially the ones that are the worst, news would have been out had people known that Lamar Jackson wanted a trade. I don't think anybody knew about it.
That may just be the stipulation of not having an agent.
Exactly.
You're saying don't let this news out. Because that is how the news gets out. Not basically from people, it's all from the agents, like sending it to reporters.
I wouldn't say it's all from the agents. There's some front office personnel. There's a lot of front office personnel that like to hand things down to Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, Aaron Mirov, a lot of those guys. They've got good relationships, and that's how a lot of the stuff comes out. It's from front office personnel when they're trying to get some things pushed through. We would have known about it. Ian Rappaport went on the Pat McAfee show today and said that he had no idea. It's nothing in the NFL is kept under wraps that tightly. Never has been.
We'll see, man. I just want him to go somewhere where he's going to thrive.
Top 5 teams. Where's he going?
Top 5 teams at the top of my head right now.
Top 5 fits. Top 5 fits, but could actually obtain him and give him the contract that he wants.
Lions.
Yep.
Cowboys. Cowboys would be fun.
If we're taking contractual details out of it, maybe the Commanders. Yeah, that's where I wanted him to go originally. I know the big bomb on Twitter was all like a prank or whatever, but to see him with those kind of weapons, and
I don't think contractually he'd be out of it either. Or the Commanders, I don't think they'd be out of it contractually.
Well, they have 2 QBs in there. They just got
with Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I think they would probably have to send one of the two to the Ravens if they worked out a trade and some other compensation. So the Ravens actually have a QB, but Eric Bieniemy joining the commies, I think he could just picture perfect offensive scheme for Lamar Jackson.
Another MVP season
type shit.
Detroit,
especially playing in the NFC.
Yeah, it's Super Bowl bound.
Minnesota would be very interesting to see.
Miami, I think, would be nearly a top, but it'd be my 2 top destinations would be probably either Miami or Detroit. Those would be the top 2 teams ready to go, have the availability to take on the contract that he would want, and have the capital to move.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Another fun one. Contracts out of the way. Niners.
Yeah,
that would be scary.
Dude,
without the contract, that would be
unfair for NFC teams.
I think that's an automatic Super Bowl win.
Yeah, they still got to run through us.
Yeah.
Well, they got to stay healthy.